Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Skin and Soul podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and in today's episode, I'm kind of going to be talking about relocating your business, what goes into it in terms of transferring your license, and things like that. It's something that I've had a lot of experience with, being a military spouse, having to move every few years, and so I do see a lot of people in the esthetician forums that I follow that have quite a bit of stress because it is a big deal to them. It's something that maybe they haven't done before, so I'm going to give you kind of the in and outs of it and some helpful tips. Okay, so I have been licensed in 4 different states. I went to school in Louisiana, originally was licensed there, and then shortly after, I transferred over to Texas, and that's where I had my first job as an esthetician. Then I transferred to Washington, and now Colorado. So, it was stressful whenever I first, transferred my license because I was very young and I didn't have anyone to mentor me. So basically what you need to do is, first of all, you need to brush up on the laws of the state that you are moving to. And the best way to do that is not by asking people, because people will tell you different things. You need to go to the board directly. So you can go on their website, and it might be a little hard to find, but just go on the website and then you'll look for their laws and regulations page or link, and it'll bring you to a page 28 different pages. You just have to scroll through and you have to find the aesthetics portion, and it details what you can and can't do. And if you have any further questions and it doesn't seem to be outlined clearly for you, just email them directly and they will give you a correct response. So I will see a lot of times people go on aesthetic forums on Facebook and ask their peers, but you will get differing answers, and you can't just trust what other people say. You need to go directly to the board and ask. So that's where you'll get your most accurate information on what you can and can't provide in terms of your services, because it does differ state by state. So I was trained in microneedling in Texas. I went through an online course through Dr. Lance Setterfield. It is one of the most detailed courses that you can get, in my opinion. And the thing is, though, on that certification, it does not have a state seal, and it doesn't list how many hours the course was. So in Colorado, when I contacted the state board to see if I needed to be medically directed or what the requirement was in terms of microneedling, they told me that I do not need a medical director as long as my certification was viable in the state I received it in. It would be viable here. And then I got a follow-up email from DORA, which is the Department of Regulatory Agencies here in Colorado, and they told me that because my certificate did not have the hours listed on it, that it was not acceptable here. So I didn't push back on it, or anything. I just decided I'm not going to be here for that much longer, so I'm not going to try and go forward with microneedling here. Being military, I move every few years, so I'll get the opportunity to microneedle in another state without running into any issues. So, yeah, it is kind of weird, but that's just the way it is. Everything differs state by state. It can be frustrating, but it's better to just follow the rules or get your proper, certification. If I was to live here in Colorado and I knew for sure that those were the rules, I would go through a state certified or state accredited school to get my microneedling certification. Even though I already have one and I already know what I'm doing, I would just do it the correct way so that I could operate and perform that service in a correct manner. But I'm not going to be staying here forever, so I'm just not even going to bother with it. And I have been told by other estheticians that, oh, you can't do it here, Dora doesn't know what they're talking about, but I don't care. I'm not going to risk my name. I'm not going to risk my license. So yeah, just follow the rules and make sure that you're getting accurate information. And so the school that I went to, well, in Louisiana, they have one of the highest amounts of hours to receive to become licensed, which is 750. So I haven't run into the issue of needing to go back to school. But if you did go to a school where you acquired less than 750 hours, or you just acquired less than the state that you're moving to requires, you're going to need to go back to school. And yeah, that kind of does suck, but it is what it is. And our school, altogether it was 8 months. So if you go back to school to get like 100 more hours, it's not going to take that long. So you can do it. That is the biggest thing. That's like the first thing to check how many hours they require. And if you don't want to go back to school, maybe you shouldn't be moving to that state if you're going to stay in this career. But yeah, thankfully that's not something I've ever had to deal with, because I did acquire one of the highest amount of hours. So yeah, you just check that out, check out the rules and regulations, and then you'll go on the State Board of Cosmetology website for whatever state you're going to be moving to, and then you'll find the form for reciprocity. I think I'm saying that right. So yeah, it's a form that you're going to fill out with your current licensed information for whatever state you're in, and just whatever other questions they ask, and then you're going to submit whatever form of payment that they require. And so whenever I transferred from Washington to Colorado, it was pretty easy. I just filled it out, emailed it to them, and submitted my payment. It was all online. Back in the day, whenever I first transferred from Louisiana to Texas, I did it through mail, and that was so annoying. So everything is online these days, and if they have an online option, just do the online option. It was so easy. And so yeah, that's what I did. And because I am military, if you are military, you can get a copy of your husband or your spouse's orders, and it will expedite the process. They do expedited process for military spouses, so which is really nice. And I actually didn't know this when I first moved to Colorado. Some states will have a grace period of like a month or so, so you can still practice before you actually get your license in. So you can practice with your license from out of state. And so I didn't know that, but I wasn't working anyways. I was stay-at-home mom. So I thought that was really cool after I found that out. So that would be nice to know if you are needing to work, that you can, go straight into work and you don't have to worry about waiting until you get your new license in. So not all states provide that, but Colorado is one of the states that does allow you to practice without your new state license, as long as you have submitted the paperwork or whatever. And yeah, it's really nice that they do expedited processes for military. So I've never really had to wait too long to get my new license in after transferring it. Okay, so that's the technicality of it all, of transferring your license. But another part of it is starting over with your clientele, especially if you're moving to a new place where you don't know anybody and you don't have any connections. And that's how it always is with me. Sometimes I'll know a few people who are also military that we've been stationed with before at previous bases. That really doesn't help too much, but some tips that you can do to really immerse yourself in the community and reach out is physically handing out your business cards. That's kind of an old school way, but it does work. If you go out to businesses, similar businesses, also connecting with other businesses through social media. You have to have an active social media platform. I do Facebook and Instagram, and I have reached out to other industry professionals in my area. So I do skincare. I reached out to massage therapists, to hairstylists, even photographers, and we would do cross referrals. I have given them a discount and for them to come and get a treatment by me so they can see my work and recommend me to their clients and other people. And so that's been really great for me. Social media really, though, is the biggest thing. Make sure that every new client you're getting, that you're really accessing the potential for that. So you're getting before and after pictures. You are letting them know, hey, if you mention me in your stories, you'll get $5 off your next service. I would really appreciate if you would write me a review. That would help me out so much. So yeah, just really access the potential for every new client. I know it can be hard to remember every single time when someone comes in, because if you're anything like me, you're really just focusing on their experience. But when you're trying to establish yourself, you really have to take advantage of those opportunities there. It helps so much if someone shares you. It's just the exposure that it gets you. Make sure that you're sharing on local groups. So on Facebook, I will join like other business groups, or of like small business groups in the community, or military spouse groups that allow business postings, even yard sale pages sometimes. Just any local group that allows business postings, I will share that. At least once a week I'll make a business post in those. So those are my tips on immersing yourself in the community, along with just word of mouth. I try hard not to be the annoying person that's like, yeah, I don't just like insert myself and like advertise my business in an annoying way. I try to make it happen really organically, and I could be a little more persistent in that aspect. I've never been really good about going out in public and just like, if I go to a coffee shop, just like telling people, it's kind of weird because that's not organic. But if someone asks what I do, I definitely will tell them and hand them a business card, And I'm sure there's other tips, that's probably for a whole new episode. But it's honestly something that I'm still working on myself. I've actually done pretty well since I've been working here in Colorado, because I have been able to take on some of my boss's clients, because she just does eyelash extensions, so I've been able to take them over and do their waxing and their skincare and all that. And client referrals and my social media is really how I gain access to people here. So those are some tips on how to gain clientele when you move to an area and you don't have any connections. So I think that's pretty much all I have. I hope this was helpful for some people that are possibly approaching the situation that I have been in several times. So yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I will see you guys next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.